In Path of Exile, not all skills are created equally. Some are made for clearing, and some are specialized in single target damage. The ones that offers high damage allows you to defeat all endgame bosses while on a budget. Divine Ire is one of those skills. With this build you will be spending around 1 second to charge a divine beam that deals up to 23 million damage to enemies in a straight line. In addition, while charging the beam you will be constantly dealing damage to all enemies around you, which enables the skill to clear maps to some degree. All that while being extremely tanky against elemental damage. So let's begin with our Ascendancy. We are an elementalist, because we want to deal lots of elemental damage. In order to do so, first we take Mastermind of Discord. This node allows exposures we inflict to further reduce the elemental resistances of affected enemies by another 25% for a total of 35%. And yes, we do have a way to inflict exposure in this build. Next we path to Heart of Destruction. Unlike in previous builds where we took this node for its area of effect bonuses, this time we mostly care about the 30% more elemental damage for 4 seconds if we have hit a unique enemy recently. To be honest, 4 seconds is too much as you are only going to need around 1 or 2 seconds to defeat most endgame bosses. From here we take Shaper of Storms. This node allows our damage to inflict shock just as if it were lightning type. But hold on, isn't Divine Ire a lightning skill anyway? Well yeah, but we have converted most of its damage into cold, so now it applies chill instead. And with this node it can apply shock again. Last but not least we have Bastion of Elements. We opted not to go for golems this time in favor of quality of life improvements, in the form of not taking any reflected elemental damage. The elemental shield is also nice, although not needed as we have already capped our maximum elemental resistances. And with that we are done with our Ascendancy. Now let's take a look at our passive tree. Our tree focuses on many things like spell crit chance and crit multi, power charges, life, mana reservation and aura effectiveness, and lightning damage. Next we have one large cluster jewel setup going. This one adds some useful damage notables like Thunderstruck and Oriana's Lesson. Aside from it we have one small aura cluster jewel that adds introspection notable. This one is required for our specific aura setup. Finally, for mastery choices, we have 10% increase the effect of our auras, plus 25% to critical strike multiplier against unique enemies, 15% increased maximum shock effect, 8% increased damage per aura or herald affecting us, plus 50 to maximum life, and 10% increased maximum life. And that was it for our passive tree, cluster jewels, and mastery choices. Now let's talk about items. First we have what's arguably Path of Exile's strongest unique weapon ever, and that is Nebula's Void Scepter. If you have ever played an aura stacker then you should know what this one does, but for those of you who didn't, this one grants us 20% increased damage for each element per 1% maximum resistance to that element above 75%. Now since you can increase your maximum resistances to 90% maximum, it totals out to 300% increased damage per capped element. Now if you convert all your damage from one type to another, you will gain double the benefit from this weapon. And we are using 2 of it with our damage converted to cold. That's 1200% increased damage from both of our weapons. That's even better than dual wielding 2 void batteries at 12 power charges. Alright, we established that we converted our damage from lightning to cold. How did we do that? Well, we are using 2 Call of the Brotherhood rings, each catalysted up with elemental damage catalyst for near 100% conversion. Ideally you want both rings to have 20% increased hatred aura effect corruption. It's not mandatory however, and I'm not using it in this video. Next we have Ashes of the Stars unique amulet. We mainly use this one for its increased reservation efficiency. However, the +1 level to all skill gems and 30% quality does play a good role in increasing our damage. This amulet is best in slot and can be beaten by any rare equivalent for this build. Make sure to anoint prismatic skin on your amulet, which will help you cap your maximum elemental resistances. Next we have a perfectly rolled brass dam unique chest. This one grants us +5 to all maximum elemental resistances and a bunch of armor. All that at the cost of life that we would have gained from our strength attribute, which doesn't really matter for this build. Generally considered best in slot option, especially in a build where scaling elemental resistances equals more damage. Now for possible corruptions on this one, I guess you can go with +2 AoE gems, but you must prioritize having perfect roll on your +5 maximum elemental resistance mod. Our next item is a pair of gloves with life and resistances. It's mandatory that you multi-mod the item into both 25% fist to lightning conversion and +1 level of socketed AoE gems. It's also mandatory to spam Eldritch currencies on the item until you get another 25% Fist to Lightning conversion. It's a tier 3 Eater of Words mod, and it's required alongside the craft to achieve 100% Fist to Lightning conversion for Divine Ire. For our other Eldritch modifier, we got 20% chance to unnerve enemies on hit, which increases the spell damage they take by 10%. Next we got a rare helm with +1 to maximum power charges and elevated mana reservation redeemer mod. The best way to craft something like this is to prepare each mod on a separate crafting base and then combine them together with an Awakener's Orb. After that you craft life and call it a day. Just make sure to do all of that on a base with either Petrified Blood or Hatred Reservation Lab enchant. Next for our boots, we got generic Tailwind elusive boots with movement speed, life, and resistances. As for our belt and the last item of this build, I decided to throw in Headhunter as a last minute decision. Since Divine Ire is generally lacking in clearing speed, Headhunter partially fixes that for us. However, it's not mandatory and mostly considered stats filler for strength and dexterity. But with that being said, we are done with our items. Now let's talk about gems that goes inside of them. For our main 6 link we have Divine Ire, Awakened added lightning damage support, Awakened cold penetration, which will both penetrate enemies' cold resistance and apply exposure as well, Infused channeling, Power charge on crit, and inspiration with anomalous quality for maximum mana cost reduction. Next we got our primary aura setup. This one contains Purity of Fire, Purity of Ice, Purity of Lightning, and level 4 Enlighten. It's important that all of those gems should go in our gloves to benefit from the +1 level of socketed AoE gems craft. That alongside our amulet and the fact that all of these purities are level 21 will get you to level 23, which is the breaking point for purities to grant you another +1 to their respective maximum elemental resistances. Anyway, next we got a secondary 4 link aura setup, starting with Hatred, Petrified Blood, level 1 Clarity, and another level 4 Enlightened gem. Last but not least, we got a 4 link damage support setup. This one contains Anomalous Assassin's Mark, Enhanced Support, Flame Dash, and level 7 Arcane Surge. Funny enough, due to the quality bonuses from both our amulet and enhanced support, Assassin's Mark will increase the damage that enemies take by 14% from the quality alone. But yeah, that was it for our gems. Now let's talk about jewels. For our Watcher's Eye, we have 15% cold penetration while affected by hatred. And that's it, nothing fancy. Aside from that, we have one Militant Faith Timeless Jewel that mentions High Templar Dominus specifically. This one will convert all nearby keystones into Inner Conviction. Inner Conviction grants us 3% more spell damage per power charge. Next we got Dissolution of the Flesh Unique Jewel. This one interacts with Petrified Blood in a unique way that doubles our effective life pool by splitting the damage we take between our total life and our current life. Finally, any remaining jewel socket you have left should be filled with a normal rare jewel like this one. We are looking for life, crit multi, and cast speed. Next for Bandit's Quest, we are going to help Elira as usual. As for Pantheons, we got the Soul of the Brine King for the majors, and the Soul of Abereth for the minors. And that was it for our strongest Divine Ire build for this league. If you guys have enjoyed this video, then make sure to leave a like, and maybe consider subscribing so you don't miss out on any future build guides like this one. My name is Phoenix, and I will see you all in the next video.